You should vote for me and not Miss Alyssa as President of the United States, and I will tell you why. I promise every constituent in the United States will get free board games for the rest of their lives.
Where would they put them all?
I don't know. And we are live, folks. Welcome to the Sit Down Standards Kickstarter Preview. My name's David. I'm joined as always by my favorite board gamer, my wife, Alyssa.
Hello.
And today we're taking a look at the 2 to 6 player area control game, Campaign Trail from Cosmic Wombat Games. In this game, players are going to be competing as presidential candidates, hopefully getting their day in the White House. But before we determine who is the President of the United States, let's talk about what's included in the game. Take it away.
All right, in this game, there are many components, so we're going to break them all down for you. The first is the game board, and this is illustrated out as the United States map, which is really neat. And each state lists the number of delegates that comes along with the state.
Yeah, electoral votes. Yep.
Electoral votes, and then also the tie breaking. So if you were to be tied with, if there was both Republican and Democrat in the party, and they were tied, it would tell you who the tie went to. So that's listed in each state as well. You also are going to be getting party reference cards, and the 3 parties in this game are the Republicans, Democrats, and Independents.
Yep, so you'll pick which one you want at the beginning of the game, which one you want to be. Or you can fight over it, whatever. Just kidding, but go ahead.
And then you're also going to be getting, there's 12 candidate reference cards that come along with this.
Yeah, so at the beginning of the game, you'll pick, there's a lot of variability, so each player gets to pick what kind of candidate they want to be, or you can kind of pass them out randomly. And they all come with their own advantages.
Disadvantages, and it's all different types of candidates. You have the ethical candidate, the wealthy candidate, and so forth.
Yeah, you have the rookie, the established politician, so lots of different ones to choose from there. You also get action cards. During your turn, basically what you're going to be doing is playing action cards that give you a bunch of different types of things that you can do, which we'll go over next. But there's still more included in this game. You also have the scoring track, which is probably one of my favorite components in this game. As you get majorities if you get more registered voters in each one of the states, as you gain majorities in those states, you take one of the state tokens representing the amount of electoral votes, and you put it on your part of the score tracker. So throughout the game, there's this really cool idea of how many electoral votes you have throughout the game, and it's just a really cool representation. It almost reminds me of all of the news outlets that have like the big tallies, the big board that has all of the...
It's a great visual, because we were able to see for a while there, like I got Texas and California, the really big states, and I just took like a whopping lead, and he's like, oh my gosh, and he'd take it back and forth. There's just this visual of like, oh, I need to catch up, I need to take that state from you.
But you'll also get money, just like any politician. You got to fundraise. So there's money tokens that are included in here. You'll also get little cubes that represent the voters, the registered voters, as well as other different meeples that represent your president. Or if you're playing with more than 3 people, you'll have a vice president. So it's this really cool vice president and president component to it. And
there's also little things that you put in your home state.
Yep, you'll put a little house in your home state that you'll get some advantages because that's your home state. Finally, there's a kind of a separate little board, and this is the debate board. In between, there's 3 rounds in this game. So after each round, you're the first and the second round, you're going to go to a debate, and it's got these little debate cards that basically determine the location of where the debate is and what topics are going to be discussed. So
it's basically where each state's topics they're most interested in.
Yeah, so the way you play the game is after those 3 rounds, essentially whoever has the most votes is the president and wins the game. But throughout the game, you're going to be doing a couple different actions. Basically, those action cards we talked about, you have a number of things you can choose to do on your turn. But you play one, it's very simple. You play a card and you pick an action on that card. Now, each card is going to have the United States represented on it, and there's going to be some states that are highlighted in red or in blue. And those determine one of the first actions you can take is, like any good candidate, you got to advertise. And there's going to be certain topics or general issues that certain states or sections of the board care about. So you can advertise specifically as to a particular issue: same-sex marriage, immigration, reproductive rights. It's very real. There's a lot of issues that are going on in this game that you'll actually focus on. You can go ahead.
You can also campaign, but to campaign you have to actually be in the state. So before you campaign, you must play a card for an action that allows you to travel, either by plane, which you can only go to states that have a plane in it.
Yeah, an airplane. Yeah.
Airplane in it, or you can travel, just by moving states by. So if it's for movement, then you move through 4 different states until you land on, so say you have a card that you need to campaign in California, and you need to first get to California, and then you play your campaign card for California.
You can also fundraise, and that's one option you can do. You can raise money, which you'll need to do the advertising as well as the campaigning. But you'll also need to register voters. There's going to be a pool of these the cubes that you're going to be using to try to gain majority in the state. So you're going to, in addition to doing all these other things like advertising and campaigning, you're going to need to sign up people to vote.
Right.
So what you'll do is you'll actually do a register action, and you'll take those cubes and put them in your registered pile that then you can place onto the board.
Which comes first, because I mean you can't campaign until you have registered voters.
Right. So it's very thematic.
Yes.
Everything in this game really makes sense. We had a great time playing it because you make all the the campaign jokes. Now, in addition to those standard actions, each card is going to kind of have a different event that it can do. Some of these things are kind of bad things, like you can sling mud, and that'll cause your opponents to potentially lose registered voters.
Or like one time he played an action, and I was like, no, wait, hold on, it was funds dry up, and he ran out of money, so he wasn't able to actually complete that campaign fundraising he was doing.
So it's like I said, it's very thematic. The debate part is actually unique too, because it's kind of this tug of war portion of the game. You're going to play cards that there's going to be certain issues that are going to be debated at this debate, and you can play cards that have that same issue, and you move those issues closer to you. And if you win the debate, you'll get to put more registered voters in those different states. But the game feels like a real campaign. I mean, you're this tug of war of like, oh, Alyssa's got Texas and California. I can try to focus on maybe a cluster of small states, but really the electoral votes in those 2 states matter tremendously. So maybe I'll focus on the South, and then I'll see her kind of move to the western states and start picking off Nevada and Arizona and Utah. So it has this real push-pull mechanic of area control, but it's light enough that I think people who are like traditional area control war games could get into this. But the theme is what really shines through in this game.
Definitely.
It even down to the candidates that you pick makes sense what advantages and disadvantages. For instance, one of the first times we played, I was the clean candidate, so it was difficult to make attacks. I'd never had a scandal in my life. I was the Boy Scout, and so if players tried to use cards to attack me, I was invulnerable to those. But if I fundraise, I could only raise so much money because I wasn't willing to take, dirty money. So it feels really, really, again, thematic. Everything really makes sense in the game. So if you like games that are thematic, or if you like territory control games, or if you just like politics, I mean, we had so much fun just joking about, the current stuff that's going on now in the U.S. as well as just throughout the years. It really does fit that fun level of making politics fun. But right now they just started they finished their Kickstarter. Excuse me, they finished their Kickstarter, which they were successfully funded. So what we're gonna do is we'll actually put a link to their website here in the video description. So if you want to find out more information, and I'm sure they'll soon have the final product out where you can actually order yours or pre-order your copy. So definitely check them out. That's the campaign trail from Cosmic Wombat Games. Until next time, bye.
See ya.